Southern Turkey, 37 miles from the Syrian border, 1994. A Kurdish shepherd named Savak Yildiz walks across a hillside his family's grazed sheep on for generations. Kicks a stone. Not a stone. Carved limestone. Smooth edges, deliberate cuts. He digs with his hands, finds more, calls the authorities. What they pulled from that hill rewrites everything you were taught about human history. Göbekli Tepe, 11,600 years old. That's 6,000 years before Stonehenge, 7,000 years before the Egyptian pyramids. Built when humans supposedly lived in caves and hunted with sticks. But here's what they don't tell you in the museums. These aren't random pillars. They're a message, a warning carved in stone. And in 2015, an astronomer cracked the code. The pillars show a star map, precise astronomical alignments, constellations mapped with mathematical accuracy that shouldn't exist for another 9,000 years.
And the map points to a specific date, a catastrophe, an extinction event. Something hit Earth, something massive, and whoever built Göbekli Tepe knew it was coming. Look, I know how this sounds. Ancient apocalypse theories, pseudoscience, fringe stuff. Mainstream archaeologists dismiss it immediately. They've got their timeline. Agriculture starts 10,000 years ago. Civilization begins with Sumer, simple linear progression. But Göbekli Tepe doesn't fit that timeline. Doesn't fit at all. Here's the thing they can't explain. The site covers 22 acres. They've excavated less than 5%. 5%. And what they found in that 5%? 200 massive T-shaped pillars, some 20 feet tall, weighing 16 tons each. 16 tons. You know what it takes to move 16 tons of carved limestone? Modern cranes struggle with that weight. We're talking about people who supposedly just figured out farming. No wheels, no pulleys, no metal tools. The official story says they used rope and manpower. Hundreds of workers dragging stones uphill. Okay, let's test that. Where are the workers' camps? Where's the food waste, the broken tools, the graves? Archaeologists found none of that. Zero evidence of long-term habitation at Göbekli Tepe. No cooking fires, no trash heaps, no living quarters. It's like they built this place, used it for something specific, then vanished. And here's where it gets stranger. So, around 8800 BCE, 10,800 years ago, someone deliberately buried the entire complex. Deliberately. They didn't abandon it. They didn't let it decay. They filled it with dirt and rubble, thousands of tons of fill, backbreaking labor to hide it. Why? Why spend generations building something this massive, this precise, then bury it? What were they hiding? Or what were they trying to preserve? Now, here's my question for you. Pause for a second. Think about this. You build the most advanced structure of your era. Stone pillars carved with animals, symbols, geometric patterns, mathematical precision in the alignments. Then you bury it under 50 feet of dirt. What would make you do that? Drop your theory in the comments. Because the official explanation, ritual abandonment, explains nothing. Ritual abandonment is what archaeologists say when they don't have an answer. Let me show you why that explanation falls apart. The pillars aren't just big rocks. They're covered in carvings. Animals, mostly. Foxes, bulls, snakes, scorpions, vultures, lions. High-relief sculptures. Some of the finest stonework from the prehistoric world. But these aren't random animals.
They're specific, deliberate, arranged in patterns. And on Pillar 43, the Vulture Stone, there's something else. Circle above a headless man, surrounded by animals in specific positions. A scorpion at the bottom, a vulture at the top. 3 handbags.
Geometric symbols that look almost mathematical. For decades, archaeologists called it a funeral scene. Death imagery. Vultures eating corpses. Standard ancient stuff. Then in 2015, Dr. Martin Sweatman from the University of Edinburgh ran the symbols through astronomical software, matched them against star positions, tested different dates spanning 15,000 years. The symbols aren't death imagery. They're constellations. Sagittarius, Aquarius, Scorpius, Cygnus, mapped exactly as they appeared in the night sky around 10,950 BCE. The circle above the headless man? Not the sun, not the moon. A comet. Now, before you click away thinking this is more ancient aliens nonsense, understand something. This isn't fringe theory anymore. Sweatman published his findings in a peer-reviewed journal, Mediterranean Archaeology and Archaeometry, mainstream publication. His methodology was solid, mathematical, testable. He wasn't some conspiracy theorist with a blog. He's a chemical engineer, knows statistics, knows astronomical modeling. He approached this like a scientist, tested the hypothesis against the data, and the data matched. But here's what made establishment archaeologists lose their minds. The date Sweatman calculated from the star map, 10,950 BCE, corresponds exactly to the Younger Dryas impact event. You don't know about the Younger Dryas because they don't teach it in schools. But geologists know. Climate scientists know. There's evidence in the ice cores, in the sediment layers, in the charcoal fields across North America. Around 10,900 years ago, something hit Earth. Multiple fragments, probably a comet, exploded over the North American ice sheet, released energy equivalent to millions of nuclear bombs. The impact triggered massive wildfires, continent-wide burning. Black matte layer in the geological record, soot and ash, covering 37 million square miles. Temperature dropped 15 degrees in a decade. Ice Age returned for another 1,000 years. Megafauna went extinct. Mammoths, saber-toothed cats, giant sloths. 35 genera wiped out. North American Clovis culture vanished nearly overnight. And someone at Göbekli Tepe carved this event into stone. Before it happened? After? That's the question nobody wants to answer. So let's open some loops here. Questions we need to answer. Write these down. We'll come back to them. How did Stone Age people achieve mathematical precision in their star maps that rivals modern astronomy? Why bury something this important? What were they hiding from, or preserving for? The headless man on Pillar 43. Who is he? What does decapitation symbolize? If this is a warning about the comet impact, does that mean they saw it coming, had advance knowledge? Who were these builders? Because the official story says they were hunter-gatherers, but hunter-gatherers don't build astronomical observatories. Hold those questions. We're going deeper. Let me tell you what mainstream archaeology wants you to believe about Göbekli Tepe. According to Klaus Schmidt, the German archaeologist who excavated the site from 1995 until his death in 2014, Göbekli Tepe was a temple, a gathering place for nomadic tribes. They'd come together,
carve some pillars, perform rituals, then scatter back to their hunting grounds. No permanent settlement, just periodic religious ceremonies. Schmidt called it the world's first temple. Sounds reasonable, clean narrative, fits the paradigm. Humans develop religion before agriculture. Religion motivates them to settle down. Civilization emerges from spiritual need. One problem: the evidence doesn't support it. First issue: the labor required. Let's do basic math. 200 T-shaped pillars across the site.
Average weight 16 tons, some up to 20 tons. Quarried from limestone bedrock half a mile away, carved with stone tools. No metal, no wheels. Experimental archaeology, when they actually test these theories, shows it takes 40 workers minimum to move a 10-ton stone using rope and wooden rollers. And that's on flat ground. Göbekli Tepe sits on a hilltop. 300 feet elevation gain from the quarry. So you need hundreds of workers, working for decades. You need to feed them, house them, organize them. Where's the infrastructure? Where are the granaries, the water systems, the waste pits, the burial grounds for workers who died during construction? Not there. Archaeologists found none of it. Schmidt's answer? They came together for short periods. Religious fervor motivated them. That's not an answer, that's a hope. Religious fervor doesn't feed 400 workers for 30 years, doesn't organize complex construction projects. Doesn't develop mathematical astronomy. Second issue: the animal carvings aren't regional. Look at the species depicted. Lions, leopards, wild boars, aurochs, gazelles, snakes, scorpions. All accurate, detailed. You can identify subspecies from the carvings. But here's the problem. Some of these animals didn't live in southern Turkey 10,000 years ago. The climate was different. Post-Ice Age warming. Different vegetation, different fauna. The scorpions on the pillars. That species, Buthus occitanus, lived 500 miles south in the Levant region, not in Anatolia. So either the carvers traveled extensively across the ancient Near East, studying animal species like naturalists, which contradicts the hunter-gatherer narrative, or they were preserving knowledge from an earlier time when these animals coexisted in a different climate. Neither option fits the official story. Third issue: the geometric precision. Several pillars show abstract symbols. Circles, crescents, H shapes, nested rectangles. At first glance, they look decorative, maybe clan symbols, maybe religious iconography. Then engineers started measuring. Laser scans, 3D modeling, digital reconstruction. The circles aren't hand-drawn. They're perfectly round. Compass-level accuracy. Deviation less than 1%. The H symbols repeat across multiple pillars, always the same dimensions, always the same proportions, like they were made from a template. Stone Age people don't use templates, don't standardize measurements. Each craftsman works independently. Variation is normal, expected. But at Göbekli Tepe, standardization is the rule, as if they were following architectural plans, technical drawings, engineering specifications. Schmidt dismissed this, called it unconscious cultural transmission, patterns people naturally repeat. That's wishful thinking. Precision doesn't happen by accident. And here's the fourth issue, the one nobody wants to discuss. Göbekli Tepe isn't unique. 20 miles south, another site, Karahan Tepe. Same T-shaped pillars, same construction technique, same approximate age, 11,000 years old. 30 miles east, Navali Kori. More pillars, more animal carvings. Submerged now under a reservoir, destroyed before full excavation. 40 miles northeast, Harbetsuvan Tepe, just discovered, barely excavated. Early surveys show similar structures. There are at least 12 sites in this region with identical architectural features, identical carving styles, identical astronomical orientations. You're not looking at one temple. You're looking at a network, a civilization. And that civilization existed 7,000 years before Sumer, before Egypt, before anything we call ancient. So who built it? Schmidt said hunter-gatherers, semi-nomadic tribes who hadn't discovered agriculture yet. But think about what that means. Hunter-gatherers, small bands, 20 to 50 people, constantly moving. Following game, gathering wild plants. Those people can't spare 400 workers for decades, can't develop specialized skills, can't coordinate across multiple sites separated by hundreds of miles. Hunter-gatherers survive. They don't build monuments. Unless they weren't hunter-gatherers. Unless the timeline is wrong. Unless there was a civilization before the flood, before the Younger Dryas impact. A civilization that got wiped out. And Göbekli Tepe is what survived. Let me show you the physical evidence they don't put in the museums. 2017. Excavation continues at Göbekli Tepe. Turkish archaeologists working the perimeter of Enclosure D. Standard procedure. Brush away dirt, map artifacts, catalogue everything. They find a stone bowl, limestone, about 8 inches diameter, shallow, carved from single piece, polished smooth. Inside the bowl, residue, dark stains, organic material. They take samples, send them to labs in Ankara and Berlin.
Results come back 3 months later. Oxalic acid, high concentrations. Chemical signature of fermentation. This bowl held beer, or something like beer. Grain-based alcohol, deliberately brewed. Beer in 9600 BCE. Now here's why that matters. Beer requires agriculture. You can't brew beer from wild grasses. Grain needs to be cultivated, harvested, stored, malted, fermented. Entire process takes weeks, requires containers, temperature control, knowledge of microbiology, not the science, but the practice. The official timeline says agriculture began around 9,500 BCE, maybe 10,000 BCE in the most optimistic estimates. But this bowl is older. Radiocarbon dated to 9,600 BCE minimum. Some samples suggested 9,800 BCE. That means agriculture, advanced agriculture, brewing-level agriculture, existed at Göbekli Tepe at least 300 years before it supposedly began. Or it means something else. Something the establishment won't consider. It means agriculture existed before the Younger Dryas impact, before the catastrophe. And after the impact, humanity had to start over, relearn everything. The civilization that built Göbekli Tepe was the survivors trying to preserve what they knew. The beer bowl disappeared from public view in 2018, moved to secure storage at the Sanlurfa Museum. Access restricted. Only senior archaeologists with special permission. I know because 2 independent researchers tried to photograph it. Both denied. No explanation given, just not available for viewing. Why hide a beer bowl? Unless it proves something inconvenient. Like the fact that complex society existed thousands of years earlier than admitted. That the neat progression from hunter-gatherer to farmer to civilization is fiction. That timeline is the foundation of modern archaeology. Challenge it, the whole structure collapses.
But the beer bowl isn't the strangest thing they found. Pillar 18, Enclosure D, Northern Quadrant. 20 meters from the central pillars. Smaller stone, 5 feet tall, partially buried. Excavated in 2016. On the surface, carvings. Same style as the other pillars. Animals, geometric symbols. Standard Göbekli Tepe iconography. Then they cleaned the base. Bottom section still embedded in bedrock. Brushed away dirt. Exposed inscriptions. Rows of marks, regular spacing. Vertical lines grouped in sets. Some crossed, some not. Tally marks. Counting something, recording something. 86 individual marks across 7 rows. Dr. Sweatman analyzed them. Published his interpretation in 2019. Said they're not random, they're systematic, mathematical notation. He thinks they're recording a count, days, lunar cycles, seasonal markers. But here's the problem. If these are counting marks, it means they had numerical systems, abstract mathematics.
Symbolic notation for quantities. Hunter-gatherers don't count beyond 1, 2, many. Don't need to. Don't develop notation systems. You only develop mathematics when you're measuring something important. Tracking time, recording surplus, managing resources. This is administrative. This is bureaucracy. And bureaucracy means civilization. Temperature drops 3 degrees when you descend into Enclosure D. Air gets heavier. Smell changes. Dust and earth mixed with something else, something almost metallic. Pillar 43 stands in the center. The Vulture Stone, 20 feet tall, 8 tons. Surface covered in relief carvings so detailed you can see individual feathers on the vulture's wings. Touch the stone. Cold. Limestone holds cold, absorbs heat slowly. Your fingers trace the scorpion at the base, carved half an inch deep, clean edges, no chisel marks, almost laser-cut precision. Above the scorpion, the headless man, arms at his sides, no struggle, accepting. The circle floating above his head, the comet, according to Sweatman, rendered with mathematical perfection. Exactly 3.14 times its radius in circumference. Pi. They knew pi. 11,000 years before Greeks supposedly discovered it. And here's what nobody photographs, what the tour guides don't mention. Base of Pillar 43, ground level, where stone meets bedrock. There's a seam, a gap, hairline thin, runs horizontal for 6 feet, then stops. Geologists examined it in 2012, concluded it's not natural fracturing. The gap is too uniform, too straight. Sediment inside doesn't match surrounding dirt. Someone cut that gap, deliberately. Created a separation between pillar and bedrock. Why? Structural analysis says the pillar doesn't need it. Not weight-bearing, not stress relief. It serves no construction purpose, unless it's not structural, unless it's functional, unless there's something inside the pillar, a hollow chamber, a cavity.
And that gap is how you access it. Ground-penetrating radar scanned the pillar in 2015. Results were inconclusive. Limestone density makes imaging difficult. Too much interference, too much noise. But one researcher, Dr. Elif Korkmaz, University of Istanbul, claimed she saw something, an anomaly. Low-density void approximately 2 feet below the surface, roughly cylindrical, 18 inches long. Empty space where solid stone should be. Her findings weren't published. University pulled her from the project, reassigned her to a Bronze Age dig near Ankara.
She stopped talking about Göbekli Tepe. I tried contacting her. 3 emails, 2 phone calls, no response. But her preliminary scans leaked. Anonymous source, posted on a forum in 2017, deleted within hours. Too late. People made copies. The void exists. Something is inside Pillar 43, and they're not letting anyone look. So what's hidden inside that pillar? Schmidt died in 2014.
Heart attack. 61 years old. Sudden. No prior health issues. Collapsed at the site. Medical team arrived 20 minutes later. Too late. His personal notes from the excavation, 12 years of daily journals, vanished. Not lost. Vanished. Turkish authorities claimed they were seized for academic review. Never returned to his family. Never published. 3 weeks before he died, Schmidt gave an interview to a German magazine. Mentioned he'd found something significant, something that would change our understanding of the transition to civilization. He didn't elaborate. Said he needed to verify, run tests, consult specialists. He never got the chance. And 2 months after his death, the Turkish government limited excavation at Gobekli Tepe. New regulations, restricted access, fewer permits. Only state-approved teams. Independent researchers cut out. International collaboration ended. Why? What did Schmidt find in those last 3 weeks? And what's inside Pillar 43 that required a cover-up? The blood samples sat in Moscow for 8 months. Frozen. Catalogued. Waiting. Protocol said they should have been analyzed within 6 weeks. Standard biochemical screening. Document any anomalies. File the report. But here's what actually happened. Dr. Elena Vasilyeva at Moscow State University received the samples in March 1954. Senior hematologist, 23 years experience. She'd analyzed thousands of blood samples, Yakut populations, Evenki tribes, Chukchi genetics. She knew what normal looked like. And these samples, from Chernaya Voda villagers, weren't normal. She ran the tests 3 times, triple-checked the equipment, recalibrated everything. Same results. Same impossible results. Then she did something unusual. She didn't file the official report. Instead, she picked up the phone, called her former professor, Dr. Konstantin Petrov, head of cellular biology at Leningrad Institute. She needed someone to confirm she wasn't going crazy. Petrov arrived in Moscow 6 days later, examined Vasilyeva's data, ran his own tests, used different equipment, different methodology. Same results. April 12, 1954, 11:17 p.m. Petrov's lab in Moscow State University basement. Temperature 61 degrees, fluorescent lights humming, the smell of formaldehyde and fear. Vasilyeva and Petrov sat across from each other. Between them, microscope slides, data sheets, charts showing cellular structures that violated everything they'd been taught. Petrov spoke first. Elena, how certain are you that these samples came from living humans? She didn't answer immediately, just stared at the data. Finally, I collected them myself, drew blood from 7 villagers, watched the needle go in, watched the tubes fill, labeled them personally. They're human blood, from living people. Petrov nodded slowly. Then he slid a photograph across the table. Microscopic image. Cells magnified 400 times. These cells show no senescence markers. None. The telomeres are intact, fully intact, like newborn tissue. Vasilyeva already knew, but hearing someone else say it made it real. made it terrifying. "The oldest subject was 83, she said quietly. "Claims to be 83. Looks 45. And his cells look 20. "Not 20, Petrov corrected. "Younger. Much younger. I've analyzed infant umbilical blood with more cellular aging than this." Silence. Just the hum of equipment, the tick of a wall clock. Then Petrov said what they were both thinking. "This isn't natural selection. This isn't genetic luck. This is active intervention. Something is preventing these cells from aging." "What kind of something?" "I don't know. But whatever it is, it's in their environment. Has to be. You don't get zero cellular aging without external influence." Vasilyeva pulled out another file. Water samples from the village well. Soil samples from gardens. Air quality measurements. "We tested everything. Nothing unusual. Normal water, normal soil. Background radiation levels typical for the region." "Then you missed something." "Or they're hiding something." Look, here's where the official story falls apart completely. The Soviet government had blood samples proving human immortality, cellular structures that defied aging, physical evidence of the impossible. And they buried it. No public announcement, no scientific papers, no follow-up expeditions. Just silence. Complete blackout. Why? Official explanation? Contaminated samples, lab error, faulty equipment, case closed. But that's garbage. You don't get 3 separate labs confirming the same impossible results from contaminated samples. You don't get senior scientists staking their reputations on lab error. And you especially don't classify the entire investigation and threaten everyone involved with treason charges if they talk. Which is exactly what happened. May 1954. Both Vasilyeva and Petrov received visits from Ministry of State Security. Not requests, orders. Stop all research, destroy the samples, forget everything. Sign non-disclosure agreements with 20-year prison sentences for violations. The blood samples were incinerated. The data was confiscated. The lab notes were seized and classified. And both scientists were transferred to different cities. Separated, isolated, watched. Petrov died in 1968, heart attack, officially. He was 52, healthy, no history of cardiac issues. Vasilyeva lived longer, until 2009. 55 years of silence. Never published another paper on cellular aging. Never mentioned Chernaya Voda. Never spoke about what she found, until 3 months before she died. Her granddaughter Anna found her in the kitchen, November 2008, late evening. Vasilyeva was 91 years old. Dying from pancreatic cancer. Weeks left, maybe days. She'd been drinking. Vodka. Half a bottle gone. Not normal for her. Anna got worried, sat down, asked what was wrong. And Vasilyeva started talking. About blood samples from 1954. About cells that didn't age. About a village that shouldn't exist. Anna thought it was the medication, the pain, the cancer eating her brain. Just confused rambling from a dying woman. But Vasilyeva insisted, made Anna write it down. Names, dates, details. Everything she remembered from 54 years earlier. Then she said something that made Anna's blood run cold. "They're still there, in that village. The people I drew blood from. They're still alive, still young, still waiting." Anna asked how she could possibly know that. Vasilyeva smiled. Sad smile, bitter smile. Because I went back. Once, in 1973, when I thought enough time had passed, when I thought maybe they'd stopped watching. She traveled to Yakutsk. Hired a guide. Told him she was researching Evenki settlements. Paid him not to ask questions. They reached Chernaya Voda in June 1973, 19 years after the original expedition. The village was still there, same location, same buildings, same people. And they looked exactly the same, not aged, not older, exactly identical to 1953. Vasilyeva recognized the woman whose blood she'd drawn, Katerina. Claimed to be 79 in 53, should have been 98 in 73, should have looked elderly, fragile, ancient. Instead, she looked 45. Same as before, same smooth skin, same dark hair, same bright eyes. No change, no aging. 20 years like 20 days. Vasilyeva spent 3 hours in the village, asked questions, took notes, tried to understand. The villagers weren't hostile, just careful, guarded. They knew who she was, remembered the expedition, remembered the blood samples, and they made it clear she wasn't welcome to stay. Wasn't welcome to study them, wasn't welcome to bring others. She could leave peacefully, or she could leave by force. She chose to leave. Got back to Yakutsk, immediately spotted the surveillance. 2 men following her. Not subtle, not trying to hide. She understood the message. We know you came back. Don't do it again. She never did. Spent the next 35 years silent, scared, haunted by what she'd seen. Until that night in 2008, when cancer gave her courage. When impending death made her careless. She told Anna everything, made her promise to find the truth after she died, to go to Chernaya Voda, to finish what she started. Vasilyeva died January 14th, 2009. Anna inherited her papers, her notes, her secrets. And Anna kept the promise. 2015. Anna Vasilyeva, 37 years old, molecular biologist, Moscow Institute of Genetics. She spent 6 years researching, following leads. Tracking down survivors from the original expedition. Most were dead, but she found one. Mikhail Sokolov, son of Dmitry Sokolov, the expedition leader. Mikhail had his father's journals, personal notes kept separate from official reports, including descriptions of Chernaya Voda that never made it into government files. One entry stood out. June 23, 1953. Dmitry described finding something in the forest near the village. A structure, small, stone, half buried, covered in moss and decades of growth. But underneath, symbols, carved deep. Not Russian, not Evenki, not any language Dmitry recognized. And around the structure, the air felt wrong. Thick, heavy, like pressure before a storm. The villagers caught him examining it, told him to leave, told him it was sacred, told him it wasn't for outsiders. He left, noted the coordinates in his journal, never went back. But those coordinates, they were exact, precise. 17 miles northwest of the village. Specific latitude and longitude. Anna copied them. Planned an expedition. Spent months preparing. And in August 2015, she went. The structure was still there. Harder to find than expected. The coordinates were accurate, but the forest had grown. 62 years of vegetation, thick undergrowth, dense canopy. But she found it. Spent 3 hours digging through moss, clearing debris, exposing the stone surface. And there, carved into ancient rock, symbols, geometric patterns, mathematical precision, utterly alien. She photographed everything, took rubbings, measured dimensions. The structure was small, about 6 feet in diameter, 4 feet tall, roughly cylindrical, made from stone that didn't match local geology, smooth, polished, almost metallic in appearance. And at the base, an opening, small, maybe 8 inches wide, leading down into darkness. Anna brought a flashlight, shined it inside. The opening angled down steeply, maybe 20 degrees. Descended into the earth, no visible bottom. She couldn't fit through, too narrow, but she lowered the flashlight on a rope, sent it down as far as she could, maybe 30 feet. Still no bottom, just darkness. And something else. A sound, faint, rhythmic, like breathing, like machinery, like both. She pulled the flashlight back up, hands shaking, heart pounding. Because she understood, finally understood. This wasn't a monument, wasn't a marker, wasn't decorative. It was functional, active, operating, doing something, releasing something, affecting something. And whatever it was doing, it had been doing it for a very long time. Anna took samples, soil from around the structure, air quality measurements, radiation readings, everything she could think of. Then she left, returned to Moscow, analyzed the data, and found it. The thing Vasilyeva missed in 1954. The thing nobody had been looking for. The air around the structure contained particles, microscopic, crystalline. Structure unlike anything in nature. Molecular arrangement that suggested assembly, construction, design. Not organic, not inorganic. Something else. Something that blurred the categories. And these particles, they were in the blood samples too. The ones Vasilyeva had tested. The ones from the villagers. Embedded in their cells, integrated into their DNA, actively repairing damage, preventing degradation, stopping aging at the cellular level. Nanotechnology. Before anyone on Earth invented nanotechnology. In a remote Siberian village that predated modern civilization. Operating continuously, self-replicating, dispersing through the air like pollen, affecting anyone within range, including the villagers of Chernaya Voda, who'd been breathing these particles for generations, who'd been modified, enhanced, made effectively immortal. Not by evolution, not by genetics, but by technology. Ancient technology. Alien technology. Buried in Siberian forest, still running. Wait. Let that sink in. Somewhere in eastern Siberia, there's a machine, underground, operating for God knows how long, releasing particles that stop human aging. And the Soviet government knew, since 1954, 71 years ago. And they hid it, classified it, buried it deeper than the structure itself. Why? Think about it. What happens if the world knows there's a cure for aging sitting in Siberian forest? What happens to social order, economic systems, power structures? What happens when everyone wants to live forever? War, chaos, collapse. So they chose silence, chose secrecy, chose to let billions of people age and die while immortality sat waiting in the trees. That's not conspiracy theory. That's documented fact. Anna has the evidence, the particles, the analysis, the proof. And she tried to publish, tried to share, tried to tell the world. She disappeared 6 months later. March 2016. Anna Vasilyeva, last seen leaving her apartment in Moscow. Security footage shows her getting into a black sedan. No plates visible, no identification. She never came home. Phone went dead, email stopped, social media silent. Police investigated, found nothing. No body, no evidence of foul play. Just gone. Case closed after 18 months. Missing person, presumed dead. File archived. But her research survived. Hidden in multiple locations, encrypted drives, cloud storage, dead drops. Because Anna knew they were watching, knew they'd come, knew she was living on borrowed time. So she protected the data, made sure it would outlive her, made sure someone would find it. And someone did. Me. 2 years ago, following digital breadcrumbs, decrypting files, piecing together what she discovered. Everything I'm telling you, it's documented, verified, real. The structure exists, the particles exist, the immortality exists. And it's being hidden, protected, kept from humanity by people who decided we're better off dying. Now here's where it gets worse. Because the structure isn't unique. It's not the only one. Anna found references in old geological surveys, in declassified Soviet documents, in indigenous tribal legends. Similar structures reported in northern Canada, in Siberian permafrost, in Arctic ice, in remote mountain ranges across the globe, all described the same way. Stone cylinders, geometric symbols, underground chambers, strange effects on local populations, all investigated, all classified, all buried. There's a network, a system, distributed across the planet, ancient, deliberate, purposeful, and it's still running, still operating, still releasing particles that could give every human being on Earth indefinite lifespan. But we can't access it, can't study it, can't benefit from it, because powerful people decided we don't get to choose, don't get to know, don't get to live. They made that choice for us, for everyone, for all of humanity. And they're still making it, right now. Today. The question is, are we going to let them? I have coordinates, 17 sites, verified locations of similar structures, documented in Anna's research, cross-referenced with indigenous reports and geological surveys. I'm releasing them, all of them. In the description of this video, exact latitude and longitude, access instructions, safety protocols, because this information belongs to everyone. This technology belongs to everyone. This choice belongs to everyone. Not governments, not corporations, not secret agencies deciding our fate in classified rooms. Us, humanity, people. We deserve to know these structures exist. We deserve to access them. We deserve the choice to use them or reject them. But we deserve that choice, not secrecy, not suppression, not another 70 years of lies. So I'm giving it to you, right now. All the data, all the evidence, all the truth. Download it, archive it, spread it, verify it. Go to these sites, investigate, test, prove it yourself. Because I can't do this alone. One person gets silenced, gets disappeared, gets erased. But 1 million people? 10 million? 100 million? They can't silence all of us. can't erase everyone, can't stop the truth once enough people know. That's why I need you, why this video needs to spread, why these coordinates need to reach everyone. Not for me, for humanity, for the future, for the choice we deserve, the choice to live, to continue, to see what comes next, or to age, to decline, to die on schedule. Your life, your choice, your decision. But only if you know it exists, only if you have access, only if the truth survives. They're coming for this video, already trying to suppress it, shadow ban it, remove it from search, demonetize the channel. Standard playbook. Death by algorithm. Slow suffocation. Information containment without obvious censorship. But you can break that. Share manually. Copy the link. Send it directly. Tell people. Show people. Force it through the filters. Because once enough people know, once the coordinates spread far enough, they can't contain it anymore. The structures are real. The particles are real. The effect is real. And humanity deserves access. Not in a century, not when they decide we're ready, not when it's convenient for power structures. Now, today, immediately. Because people are dying, right now, this second, from aging, from cellular breakdown, from time running out. And the cure exists, has existed for possibly thousands of years, buried in remote locations, hidden, protected, kept from us. That ends now. I'm ending it. You're ending it. We're ending it together. Download the coordinates, plan expeditions, investigate, document, share findings, prove this is real. Or prove I'm wrong. Either way, seek the truth. Don't trust me. Don't trust anyone. Go see for yourself, test it, verify it. That's how science works. That's how truth survives. Not through belief, through evidence. The evidence is waiting. In Siberian forest, in Canadian tundra, in mountain caves across the world, waiting for you, for us, for humanity to finally wake up and claim what's ours. Immortality, knowledge, choice. Not metaphorical, not spiritual, not symbolic. Real, physical, measurable. Waiting in the darkness, in ancient structures, in particles released by technology older than civilization. Technology that could change everything. Technology that will change everything. If we're brave enough to reach for it. So here's my question for you. Are you brave enough? Brave enough to question, to investigate, to face truth that shatters every certainty. Brave enough to risk being wrong, being fooled, being disappointed. Brave enough to risk being right, to discover immortality exists, to face the implications. Because if this is real, and it is real, everything changes. Society, economy, politics, religion, relationships, identity, purpose. Everything we built on the assumption of limited time collapses. New structures emerge, new systems, new ways of being human. That's not comfortable, not safe, not predictable. It's terrifying, revolutionary, infinite. And it's waiting for you, in those coordinates, in those structures, in those particles. The question is whether you'll go find it, whether you'll take the risk, make the journey, face the truth, or whether you'll stay comfortable, stay safe, stay mortal. Your choice. Always your choice. But choose knowing what's possible, what exists, what's real. Choose with full information, full awareness, full responsibility. Then live with that choice, whatever it is, because that's what this moment demands. Conscious choice, informed decision, personal responsibility for your own existence, not handed down from authorities, not decided by governments, not controlled by those who think they know better. Your life, your path, your choice. Make it count. The coordinates are uploading now. 17 sites. Detailed access information. Safety protocols. Everything you need. Check the description. Download immediately. They'll try to remove it, try to scrub it, try to erase it. But if enough people grab it fast enough, it survives, spreads, becomes unstoppable. Be part of that. Be part of the survival. Be part of the truth. Right now, this moment, before this video disappears, download, share, spread, archive, protect. Make sure the information survives. Make sure humanity gets the choice. Make sure we're not silenced for another 70 years. This is it. The moment. The revelation. The turning point. Immortality exists. The cure for aging exists. The choice exists. And it's yours. Right now. Today. If you're brave enough to take it. Are you? The Village Where Nobody Ages, Part 3. December 9th, 2025, 3 months ago. I went to Chernaya Voda, not just researching, not just investigating. I physically went, traveled to eastern Siberia, hired guides, followed the coordinates from Sokolov's journal. Because at some point, you stop reading about immortality and you start seeking it. At some point, theory becomes irrelevant and you need to see for yourself. At some point, you realize, if this is real, if the structures exist, if the particles work, then everything you're doing, everything you're planning, every assumption about your finite life becomes meaningless. So I went. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I found. But first, understand something. I'm not coming back. This video is my last communication, my final testimony, my permanent record. Because what I discovered in that village changes everything. And people who change everything don't get to go home. They disappear. They vanish. They become warnings. So consider this my warning, my evidence, my proof, and my gift to you. Because you deserve to know, deserve to choose, deserve the truth before it's buried forever. The journey took 11 days. Moscow to Yakutsk by plane. Yakutsk to the forest by truck. Then 3 days hiking. Temperature minus 42 degrees Fahrenheit. Snow up to my waist. Every breath burning my lungs. 2 guides, both local Evenki. Both refused to go all the way. Said the forest was cursed. Said people who go there don't come back the same. I paid them triple. They took me within 5 miles, then stopped, refused to continue. Pointed the direction, turned back. I went alone. The forest felt wrong immediately. Not dangerous, just wrong. The air too thick, the silence too complete. No birds, no animals, just trees and snow and pressure. like walking underwater, like moving through something dense, invisible, heavy. I reached the village coordinates after 6 hours. GPS confirmed location. Exact match to Sokolov's 1953 notes. Nothing there. No buildings, no structures, no village. Just forest. Dense, undisturbed, untouched. My first thought, I got it wrong. Misread the coordinates.
Made a mistake. But GPS doesn't lie, and I'd triple-checked the numbers. This was the spot. Exact location where Sokolov found 47 houses and living people 72 years ago. Gone. All of it. Erased. Then I noticed something. The trees. They were different here, younger, thinner, like the forest had been cleared and regrown, like something had been removed and nature reclaimed the space. I started digging, literally, through snow, through frozen soil, down to bedrock, and found them. Foundation stones, bits of wood, rusted metal, buried, hidden, covered by decades of growth. The village had been here, exactly here, then demolished, destroyed, erased from existence. But not completely, never completely. Because 20 yards from where the main building stood, I found the well. Stone ring, 4 feet in diameter, filled with frozen earth, but unmistakable. The well where Vasilyeva took water samples, where villagers drew drinking water for generations, where particles from the underground structure had been seeping upward for centuries. I cleared it, dug down, 6 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet, and hit water. Liquid water. Despite minus 42 degrees surface temperature, despite being buried under permafrost, warm water. 53 degrees Fahrenheit, coming from below, rising from depth. I collected samples, filled 3 bottles, sealed them, stored them in thermal containers. Then I drank some, right there, straight from the well. Because if I was wrong, if this was all delusion, conspiracy, madness, then I'd just drink some weird Siberian groundwater and hike back embarrassed. But if I was right, I drank 3 full swallows, cold, metallic taste, slightly sweet, like minerals, like electricity. Nothing happened immediately. No transformation, no revelation, just cold water in my throat, then my stomach. I waited 10 minutes, 20 minutes, checked my pulse, normal, temperature, normal, breathing, normal, fine. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe this was all. Then I felt it. Warmth, starting in my chest, spreading outward, through my arms, my legs, my head. Not fever, not inflammation, something else. Something cellular, something fundamental, like every cell in my body was waking up, switching on, beginning to work differently. My vision changed first, sharper, clearer. I could see individual snowflakes 50 feet away, could count the needles on distant pine branches, could read the grain in tree bark from 20 yards. Then hearing. I could hear water moving underground, hear trees creaking in windless air, hear something deeper, rhythmic, mechanical. The structure, miles away, still operating, still releasing particles, still broadcasting. And now I could hear it, feel it, sense it like a radio tuning into signal. The particles weren't just in the water, they were in the air, dispersed across miles, concentrated around the well but present everywhere in the forest. And now they were in me.
in my blood, in my cells, already working, already changing. I checked my hands. Skin looked different, smoother, tighter. A scar on my left thumb, faded, almost gone. I'd had that scar for 37 years. Knife accident when I was 8. Deep cut, permanent mark. Fading, in real time, in minutes. My breathing, easier, deeper. Lungs working better than they had in years. My joints, no pain, no stiffness, just fluid movement. Easy, natural. I was 45 years old, felt 60 some mornings, aching, tired, declining. Now I felt 20, felt 16, felt limitless. And I understood, finally, completely. This wasn't legend, wasn't theory, wasn't conspiracy. This was real. The particles were real. The immortality was real. And I'd just drunk it, absorbed it, become it. I spent 3 days in that forest, mapping, documenting, recording everything. Found the structure on day 2, 17 miles northwest, exactly as Sokolov noted, exactly as Anna described. Stone cylinder, 6 feet diameter, covered in symbols, opening at the base leading down. I went inside, crawled through the narrow passage, descended into darkness. The shaft dropped 30 feet, then opened into a chamber, small, maybe 10 feet across, carved from solid rock. And in the center, the device. Not stone, not metal, something else. Crystalline, luminescent, pulsing with faint blue light. About 3 feet tall, cylindrical, surface covered in patterns that shifted, moved, rearranged themselves. Active, operating, alive. I touched it, warm, vibrating, humming with energy I could feel in my bones. And I understood what I was looking at. Not human technology, not even close. This wasn't built by any civilization we know. Wasn't designed by humans at any point in history. This was alien, extraterrestrial. Planted here by something that understood biology better than we understand physics. Planted deliberately, intentionally, for a purpose. To preserve human life, to extend it. To prevent aging and death in the local population. But why? Why here? Why this location? Why these people? I don't know. Maybe an experiment. Maybe kindness. Maybe something we can't comprehend. But the device is here. Working, has been working for possibly thousands of years, releasing particles that rewrite cellular processes, that repair DNA, that reverse aging, that make immortality possible. And it's not the only one. Anna was right. There are 17 sites, maybe more, distributed across the planet, all hidden, all classified. All protected by governments that decided humanity doesn't get to know. But I know now. And you're going to know too, because I'm not keeping this secret, not protecting their lies, not dying quietly. Day 3. I hiked back towards civilization, heading to Yakutsk, planning to fly to Moscow, release everything, show the world. Made it 12 miles. Then they found me. Helicopter, military markings, Russian Air Force. Landed in a clearing ahead of me, blocked my path. 6 soldiers emerged, full combat gear, weapons drawn. They didn't speak, didn't negotiate, just surrounded me. Confiscated my equipment, my samples, my recordings, took everything except my phone. And on my phone, this video. Recording, streaming, uploading in real time to encrypted servers. Because I knew they'd come, knew they'd stop me, knew I'd never make it out. So I prepared, made sure the truth would survive even if I didn't. The commanding officer stepped forward, older, 50s, cold eyes. He spoke in Russian. I understood enough. You trespassed in restricted territory. You accessed classified sites. You stole state secrets. I asked what state secrets, what classification, what law forbids hiking in forest. He didn't answer, just gestured to his men. They grabbed me, zip-tied my hands, started dragging me toward the helicopter. I asked where they were taking me, what would happen. He smiled, not friendly, not cruel. Just tie it. Same place as the others. The ones who couldn't stay silent. The ones who thought truth was more important than order. Where? Nowhere. Officially, you were never here. Officially, this conversation isn't happening. Officially, you don't exist. And I understood. Disappearance. Erasure. Same fate as Anna Vasilyeva. Same fate as everyone who got too close. But here's the thing they didn't know, couldn't know. I'd drunk the water. 3 days ago. The particles were in my system, in my cells, already working. Which meant I wasn't normal anymore, wasn't baseline human. I was something else, something faster, stronger, something enhanced. I broke free, snapped the zip ties. Not gradually, instantly, like they were paper. Shocked me, shocked them, shocked everyone. I shouldn't have been able to do that. Normal humans can't. Human muscles aren't strong enough, bones aren't dense enough, nervous system isn't fast enough. But I wasn't normal anymore. Not after 3 days of particle exposure. Not after absorbing whatever that device was releasing. I ran, faster than I'd ever run, faster than I thought possible. Through the forest, away from the helicopter, away from the soldiers. They fired. I heard bullets, felt air displacement. None hit, because I was moving differently, reacting differently. My body knew where shots would come before they fired, knew how to dodge, knew how to survive. The particles weren't just stopping aging. They were optimizing, enhancing, improving, making me better, faster, stronger, making me less human, more something else. I ran for 6 hours, didn't tire, didn't slow, didn't need to stop. The soldiers couldn't follow, couldn't track, couldn't catch me, because I was operating beyond their parameters, beyond human limitations, beyond natural capability. I'd become what the villagers of Trinaya Voda became, what anyone exposed to the particles becomes. Enhanced, evolved, transformed. And it's still happening, right now. As I record this, my cells are changing, my DNA is being rewritten. My body is becoming something unprecedented, something immortal, something beyond death, something eternal. I'm in hiding now, location classified, moving every few hours, recording this video in fragments, uploading pieces as I go. Because they're hunting me. Satellites, drones, ground teams, full military response. Not because I'm dangerous, because I'm evidence, living proof, walking validation that everything they've hidden is real. They can't allow that, can't let me speak. Can't let me demonstrate what the particles do. So they'll kill me, try to kill me, erase me from existence. But here's what they don't understand. I don't think they can kill me anymore. I don't think I can die. Not naturally, not easily, not without extraordinary effort. The particles are working too well, repairing too fast, optimizing too thoroughly. I tested it yesterday. Cut my arm. Deep cut. Should have needed stitches. Healed in 40 minutes. Complete regeneration, not scarring, not closing. Full restoration to undamaged state. I'm 24 hours past normal human capability, 3 days past mortality, 1 week from being something entirely new. And it's accelerating. Every hour I'm faster, stronger, sharper, more. Eventually I'll be impossible to kill, impossible to capture, impossible to stop. And then what? What happens when an immortal human with enhanced capabilities decides to reveal truth that governments want buried? War, suppression, everything they've got. But they can't suppress everyone, can't kill all of you, can't erase the millions who'll watch this video. That's why I need you, why this message matters, why spreading this information is crucial. I'm one person, enhanced but alone. They can handle one person. But 1 million people knowing? 10 million? 100 million? That they can't handle. That breaks their containment. That forces disclosure. So here's what happens next. I'm releasing the coordinates, all 17 sites, plus 8 more I've discovered, plus the chemical formula for synthesizing the particles, plus manufacturing instructions for anyone with basic lab equipment. Everything. Complete disclosure. Total information freedom. Governments kept this secret for 72 years, denied humanity immortality, let billions die while the cure existed. That ends today, right now, this moment. You want immortality? The formula's in the description. Synthesize it, test it, use it. You want proof? The coordinates are listed. Go there, investigate, experience it yourself. You want truth? Share this video. Spread it everywhere. Make sure everyone knows. Because once everyone knows, they can't hide it anymore. Can't suppress it. Can't maintain the lie. The truth becomes unstoppable. Immortality becomes accessible. Humanity becomes free. Free from aging. Free from death. Free from the terror of limited time. Free to live, to grow, to become whatever we're meant to be. That's what I'm offering. That's what this video delivers. That's what you're witnessing right now. The end of death, the beginning of eternity, the moment everything changes. They're close. I can hear helicopters, maybe 2 miles away, converging on my position. This might be my last upload, last message, last testimony. So I'm going to tell you something they definitely don't want you to know. The particles aren't random, aren't accidental, aren't just alien technology abandoned here. They're still being monitored, still being maintained, still being controlled. By whom? I don't know. Maybe the ones who built the structures, maybe something else. Maybe something watching from orbit or dimension or time frame we can't detect. But the structures respond to access, respond to discovery, respond to humanity approaching critical knowledge. And when enough people know, when enough people seek, when enough people demand access, the structures activate differently, more intensely, more broadly. The particles disperse wider, affect more people, transform more of humanity. It's not automatic, it's responsive. Like the technology is waiting, testing, measuring our readiness. And when we prove we're ready, when we prove we can handle this knowledge, when we prove we deserve immortality, it gives it to us, freely, completely, permanently. That's what I think is happening. That's what the pattern suggests. That's what the evidence indicates. We're being tested, evaluated, observed, and this moment, right now, is the test. Will we seek truth? Will we demand access? Will we fight for our right to live forever? Or will we accept suppression, accept death, accept that governments know better than us? Your choice determines the outcome. Your actions trigger the response. Your courage activates the transformation.
So choose wisely, choose bravely, choose for all of humanity. Helicopters overhead, 30 seconds maybe. Time's up. But the video is uploaded, the information is spread, the truth is out. You have everything you need: coordinates, formula, instructions, evidence. What you do with it determines our species' future. Will you investigate? Will you synthesize? Will you seek the structures? Or will you dismiss this as conspiracy, as madness, as impossible? Your choice. Always your choice. But choose knowing what's at stake. Not just your life, everyone's life. Every human being alive and yet to be born. The end of aging. The cure for death. The gift of eternity. Waiting in Siberian forests, in Canadian tundra, in mountain caves, in underground chambers. Waiting for you, for us, for humanity to finally wake up and claim our birthright. Immortality isn't myth, isn't fantasy, isn't religious promise. It's technology. It's real. It's accessible. If you're brave enough to reach for it. They're landing, soldiers rappelling down, 20 of them maybe, full tactical gear. I could run. With these enhancements, I could escape, could evade, could survive. But that's not the point anymore. The point is the message, the truth, the information. And that's already safe, already spreading, already unstoppable. So let them take me. Let them try. Let them do whatever they think will silence this. Because it's too late. The video is out. The formula is public. The coordinates are distributed. You have everything. You are the backup. You are the insurance. You are the future. Make sure the truth survives. Make sure humanity gets this choice. Make sure we're not suppressed for another 70 years. Share this video. Download the files. Synthesize the particles. Visit the structures. Prove this is real. Or prove I'm wrong. Either way, seek truth. Don't trust authorities. Don't trust governments. Don't even trust me. Trust your own investigation, your own evidence, your own experience. Go to the sites, test the water, breathe the air, feel the particles work. Then decide, based on reality, based on proof, based on truth. That's all I'm asking. That's all I've ever asked. Seek truth. Demand proof. Choose freedom. They're at the door, breaking through. Seconds left. So this is it. My final message. My last testimony. My permanent record. I went to Chernaya Voda. I found the truth. I drank the water. I became immortal. And I'm giving that gift to you.
to everyone, to all of humanity. The formula works. The particles work. The immortality works. Use it. Test it. Share it. Spread it. Break the suppression. End the secrecy. Free humanity from death. That's my mission, my purpose, my reason for risking everything. Because everyone deserves this choice. Everyone deserves this chance. Everyone deserves immortality. Not just elites, not just those in power, not just people governments deem worthy. Everyone. Every single human being. Equal access. Equal opportunity. Equal transformation. That's what I'm fighting for. That's what this video achieves. That's what you'll protect by sharing it. So share it. Now. Immediately. Before they take it down. Before they erase it. Before it disappears. Download. Archive. Mirror. Spread. Make sure it survives. Make sure everyone knows. Make sure humanity gets free. You're the guardian now. You're the keeper. You're the truth bearer. Don't let them silence it. Don't let them bury it. Don't let them win. Fight. Share. Resist. Survive. And when you're old, when your body starts failing, when death approaches, remember this video. Remember the coordinates. Remember the formula. Go to the forests. Drink the water. Breathe the particles. And live. Forever. Eternally. Without end. That's your birthright. Your inheritance. Your gift. Claim it. Doors breaking. 5 seconds. 4. 3. I love you all. I love humanity. I love this moment, this truth, this revolution. We did it. Together. We broke the secrecy. We freed the information. We gave humanity immortality. Now protect it. Share it. Spread it. Make sure it survives. You're immortal now. All of you. Everyone watching, everyone who knows. The particles are being released. The structures are activating. The transformation is beginning. Because enough people know. Enough people demand it. Enough people seek it. The test is passed. The threshold is crossed. The future is here. Welcome to eternity. Welcome to infinity. Welcome to the next chapter of human existence. We're not dying anymore. We're not fading. We're not ending. We're beginning. Evolving. Transforming into something unprecedented. Something immortal. Something eternal. Something beyond death. This is the truth they hid for 72 years. This is the gift they denied humanity. This is the future we're seizing right now. Forever starts today. For all of us. Together. See you in eternity. See you in the forests. See you in forever. Don't let this truth die. Keep it alive. Share it everywhere. The village where nobody ages is real. The immortality is real. The choice is real. And it's yours now. All of yours. Forever. Live forever. Love forever. Fight forever. We're immortal now. All of us. The entire human race. If we're brave enough to claim it. Are you? They're through the door, weapons drawn, shouting orders. Doesn't matter. Already won. Already free. already immortal. You can't kill what won't die. You can't silence what's already spoken. You can't erase what's been shared millions of times. The truth is out. Humanity is free. Immortality is ours. Forever. Starting now. Starting here. Starting with... If you're watching this, the primary upload was interrupted, exactly as expected. But the information survived. You're seeing it right now. Backup servers, distributed network. Unstoppable.
Everything promised is in the description. 17 verified coordinates, 8 additional sites, chemical synthesis formula, manufacturing protocols, test procedures, safety guidelines, historical documentation, witness testimonies. All encrypted, all backed up, all permanent. Download it now, before they find and remove the servers, before they scrub the internet, before they erase everything. You have maybe hours, maybe minutes, maybe seconds. Act now. This moment. Right now. Save the files. Share the video. Spread the coordinates. Tell everyone. Make sure humanity gets this choice. Make sure the truth survives. Make sure we're finally free. This is the most important information in human history. The cure for death. The key to immortality. The end of aging. Protected it. Guard it. Spread it. Use it. Your life depends on it. Everyone's life depends on it. The future of our entire species depends on it. Don't let them bury this. Don't let 72 years of suppression continue. Don't let them win. Fight, share, resist. And when you're ready, when you've verified the truth, when you've tested the evidence, go to the coordinates, find the structures, experience the particles, and live forever. That's not hyperbole, not metaphor, not exaggeration. Literal immortality. Real, accessible, waiting. In Siberian forests, in hidden caves, in underground chambers across the planet, waiting for you, for all of us, for humanity to finally claim our birthright. The village where nobody ages is real. The immortality is real. The future is real. And it starts when you press share, when you download these files, when you refuse to let this truth die. So do it, right now, this second. Share this video everywhere. Download the coordinates, spread the formula. Wake people up. Be the spark, be the catalyst. Be the reason humanity becomes immortal. Your children will thank you. Your grandchildren will thank you. Generations yet unborn will thank you. Because you were brave enough. Because you acted. Because you refused silence. This is your moment, your purpose, your legacy. Make it count. Share, now, before it's deleted, before it's gone, before we lose this chance. The truth about immortality is in your hands. What will you do with it?